Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ
Ki
ਜੀ ਕੀ
Fateh.
ਫਤਿਹ।
My name is Vikram Singh. I'm here from Sikho, where we share resources, websites, apps, all about Sikhi to help you learn more and grow in your Sikhi, such as mobile apps, Gurbani apps, websites. And now we're also starting interviews about Sikh platforms and with other Sikh entrepreneurs, Sikh activists, and people who have created different platforms and share other resources with the community. Today, I have Mandeep Singh with me, the Executive Director of Dasvandh Network, and we'll be talking about what Dasvandh Network is, how you can get involved, and how we can all, as a community, help empower the Panth. Welcome, Mandeep.
Thank you so much, Savirji. I really appreciate you having us.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you here today. Just to get started, for those of our viewers who might not know, can you just briefly tell us what Dasvandh is and the tradition of Dasvandh in Sikhi?
Absolutely. And of course, when we talk about DVN, it's a big part of what we're trying to do here. For those who aren't familiar, Dasvandh is this concept we have where as Sikhs, we should be giving 1/10 of our earning back into society. And that can be financially, but also in the form of seva. And so if we talk a lot about Vandike Shakna and that being a very key pillar about Sikhi, this fund would essentially fall under that category. Something that I learned when I joined on this job and started working with this fund, I found out that this kind of practice of this fund was formalized a lot around the Guru Ram Das Ji's time when he was helping build Harmandir Sahib. And so that's a really cool tidbit on when it started. And now it's evolved into us always giving back wherever we can in whatever space and capacity.
Oh, that's good to know. That was interesting to hear. When was it formalized? Because we know in general Dasvandh and like Daswa he signed 1/10, right? But it's good to know that. And
absolutely, yeah.
This is a platform I think you'll just tell us about where people can contribute and give Dasvandh, right? So can you tell us a little bit about Dasvandh Network, or DVN as you mentioned?
Yeah, DVN for sure. So DVN is an online giving platform. So where we're trying to connect just those two parties, right? We're trying to connect donors who are looking to give their Dasvandh and give back in a certain capacity. But at the same time, we're trying to get activists more money for the work that they're doing across many different causes, whether it's humanitarian aid or civil rights or arts or media, whatever in education, whatever the issue area might be. We're trying to be a facilitator between inspiring the giving of this fund by our community with the activists who need that. And so what does that really turn out to? We're a website and at dvnetwork.org. And on that website, we assist 60 plus well-vetted organizations and projects in finding new donors through that crowdfunding platform. And in that, we also try to make sure that we are trying to ensure that funds by those activists and organizations are used efficiently and responsibility as kind of representatives of all the Sanghats trying to do their this month.
Right. Okay. And you joined the Dasvandh Network. Can you tell me like when you joined and it already existed, right? And what your role is there?
Yeah, our founders were all across the country. We started about 10 years ago, and it started with that vision exactly of, we have this concept in this fund that gurus gave us. What does it really mean in a modern lens? What does it really mean for the diaspora? What does it mean in our day to day? And so that's where the idea of the website and the vision and the new products that we're going to come in is how can we find new ways in this modern age to kind of allow the Sanghats to engage, right? And so that's how we started 10 years ago of trying to be this portfolio of giving. And it's about how you can have an easy place to go to for multiple causes and track all of it in one place. So all of that started well before I joined 10 years ago. I joined in the last year in May 2020.
Okay. And you're the director. So does that mean you kind of give direction to the organization and the platform?
Yeah. I direction, project management, jack of all trades, master of a few. But essentially, my formal title is I'm the executive director. What this really means is that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that, again, on both sides, more and more donors are engaging and knowing about us, and however many amounts it means, how many organization it means, they're feeling inspired to go in and connect. And for activists, trying to serve as a resource, not only just to get money, but how to help scale and how to help grow and offer different tools. And so a lot of my job is around those two key pieces, around donor engagement and then also activist engagement.
Are there other members of your team or full-time or part-time or volunteers? How many people are in the organization
No,
to help you?
absolutely. That's a very good question. So right now, I am the only full-time staff person. We will be hiring next year, so we'll definitely use Sikho and help to get the word out that for that, and anybody in the Sangat who's looking to work in a panthic-oriented organization. But right now, it's just me. We do have a board, a very, very deep board. We have about 17 families on our board that are regularly involved. About of those, six folks specifically help me on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, kind of with execution. And we have a number of interns and volunteers that help us make it all possible.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you kind of built out this whole organization and have many people involved.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, we started 10 years ago. We have at least about 11,000 users. You know, a lot of folks that have been help us get here. A lot of volunteer and people putting their Dasvandh into Dasvandh network in terms of time. You know, and so now with me hiring full time, getting more staff, we're trying to put fuel to the flame and continue growing, expanding as much as we can.
I see. So people come onto this platform to donate and contribute to different projects and different organizations. How is the Dasvandh Network itself funded, and how do you get funds to run your operations and all the overhead?
Yeah, no, great question. So and we're all about, again, accountability, transparency, and our values. So as much as it possible, we try to do that on our accord as well. And so for us, the main way that we make revenue as an organization is when, let's say, you want to go and donate to nonprofit X. You make a $100 donation to nonprofit X. Majority of that money, using DVN is free. Most of that money will go to that nonprofit. The only money that is taken from that donation is the processing fee, which is 50 cents if you pay through your bank, and it's 3.5% if you pay through credit card. And so other than processing fees, the money goes to the activists. There is an option for organization or donors to go and donate to our operating funds. Right now, we call it a tip. Other organizations just call it, a donation to the nonprofit. However you frame it, there's an ability when you check out on your donation to throw a few extra bucks our way for our operations. So that is our primary way for revenue. But however, that isn't enough. The gap in our operating expenses right now are covered by our board. And eventually we'd like to make it so that we're self-sustainable on our own, so we can focus our energy and funds on the other activists that we're trying to help support.
I see. Okay. So you have even board members that are personally contributing to help run the organization.
Yes. So our board members are part of their Dasvandh on an annual basis is helping Dasvandh Network scale.
Okay. And is Dasvandh Network itself and like a tax deductible organization if people want to donate to it?
Yeah, all great questions. We are officially a 501c3. So any donations to us, the tips, they're also all tax deductible. In addition, majority, if not all, of our projects and organizations on our platform are also tax deductible if you're in the US. So we kind of only really right now partner with organizations that have that tax deductibility and that status. It's a way for us to ensure that kind of accountability and transparency because there's a lot of regulation around being a 501c3, particularly in the US.
Right. That helps a lot. Even me personally as a user of DVN, I use it as well and have been for quite a few years. What I like a lot about it is having everything in one place. In terms of if I go out and donate to many of these organizations directly through their websites, and I have emails at the end of the year and find all their letters, their tax letters, and put them together, or to figure out the amounts, and kind of even for tax time and for your own personal accounting to kind of figure out who you gave how much and what you did. It helps to be able to see them all in one place. And I noticed in Dasvandh Network, you can print out a report or download a report of all your donations for the whole year. And you can even see, I think, which ones are tax deductible and which ones are not, right?
Yeah, no, that's exactly one of the reasons why we encourage this ecosystem. It's easy to find new product. We all know the groups that we like to support or the issue areas we support, right? And that's okay. This fund is a flexible concept on it is supposed to be defined in the way that you want. I had the same problem actually. When I was doing taxes, I realized I couldn't find. There was a couple of years where I missed a lot of tax deductible piece, and that's not why we do this fund, but it is we want to make it very easy so that is possible, given what the government allows. Right now we are trying to find more and more tools to make that easy. I think we set up so that at the end of the year we'll just send you an email with all the donations you made as well. We're going to be working on some kind of tracking tools and dashboards so you can kind of track down how much money you've been giving. We're just starting, and we're going to have more products that allow you to, maybe, let's say you just care about an issue area and you want this fund to pick out how you want the money to go. Like, our goal is to make it so easy and so transparent, and all in one place. So we'll be expanding on that feeling of the experience that you've had so far.
Wonderful. That sounds great. I want to ask you about that a little bit later, about what you guys have planned for the future and some of those, upcoming features and ideas, and maybe the roadmap a little bit. But another point I wanted to mention was, I find myself as a user, wanting to do all my Dasvandh through that, or as much of it as possible. And so sometimes I was wondering, I wish this organization was on there. I wish this organization was on there. And then when I see slowly those organizations coming on board, it's, hey, now I don't have to go to their website anymore. I can do it through this. So it's more convenient for me. Maybe you can talk a little bit about what it requires for an organization to join the platform, and how you kind of vet them and make sure that it is a legitimate project.
Yeah, no, again, I appreciate that. And this is, again, something I practice and make sure we're transparent about often. So first and foremost, if anybody is interested in applying to be an organization and partner with us and their social impact org, I highly encourage them to reach out. You can go to our website, dvnetwork.org. The top banner says, join DVN, and it allows you to kind of hop in there and apply. So I'm always open to a conversation and discussion. So don't hesitate if any group is interested. What we really look at is we look at, we are a Sikhi inspired organization. We do want to make sure that the work that's happening is Gurmat aligned, and in the sense that we are doing work to improve the humanity and improve society. That can be within certain needs that the Sikh community might need, and that can be beyond. And we have so many organizations, Sikh-led organizations, that are going on and doing that. So the kind of baseline is, are you doing kind of this hukam and the seva that the gurus have given us? Second big component we really look at is that transparency piece I talk about a lot. Or, is what's the governance look like? Who's running it? Where are the funds going? How are they being used? And so those are kind of the loose criteria of what are you trying to accomplish and how are you trying to accomplish it? And will we make a good fit on that? And could we create a symbiotic relationship there? In terms of the tactical, how to actually apply, it's very straightforward. You go on our website, you join as a cause. It's about an application, takes about 20 to 30 minutes. Most of the stuff you already have ready, like your logo and your vision. We have ask a series of questions that we want to know to make sure so we can get to a little bit of those two pieces that I'm talking about. And then you submit your application. We do have an internal committee that reviews to make sure, we have 5 or 6 very different Singhs and Kaurs across the country, different perspectives on Sikhi, but we just want to make sure that at the core is this, does this reflect what we would want to be a strong partner and is doing the work that the gurus kind of hooked us to do. And so we review that, and once it's approved, then you can use DVN in perpetuity, in accordance with all the policies that we have.
I see. So once an organization has been accepted, can they just add projects as they would like?
So once an organization is approved and in perpetuity, as long as the policies and all that, they can go and fundraise for their organization. We do review, if let's say if a new organization wanted to submit a new project on the platform, we do review those as well. We want to kind of know what's going on and making sure that it's aligned with donors, resonate with it. Is the goal realistic? Again, we're a partner for everybody to make sure that we can get to our goals. So there is a bit of a review process. It is less so than a new organization applying, because we already know about the organization and we work at a certain capacity.
Yeah, that makes sense. You already have a relationship and build some trust. I see. Yeah. I was just thinking from the perspective of a donor seeing a new organization or a new project and kind of wanting to make sure they know where their dollar is going, right?
No, exactly. So just for folks who are listening, I think when you give to an organization, and this works the same way if you give directly, is that money is usually not earmarked for anything. It's unrestricted operating funds, unless the donor says, here's how I want to use it. When donors give on our platform and give to projects, that the organization knows if you gave to this specific project to help with this scholarship or help with this food pantry, whatever it might be under the umbrella, the organization then earmarks that money for that specific effort because it came through the project page and not the organization page.
I see. That makes sense. You said Dasvandh Network has kind of been operating for almost 10 years now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to learn a little bit about the impact they've had on the community, maybe where the organizations are based. Is it just in the US? Is it international? And where the projects are based in general? And a little bit more about, your users, how many funds, how much donations, or the projects, like the stats and all of that.
And yeah, totally. Yeah, no, that's great. I have a my board asks me a lot of questions, so I have to go in and dig in and find these numbers all the time. But so just to paint the higher, broader picture first is, we historically have, since we've started, done a couple $100,000 a year. This does not count for any donations for our operations. This is strictly for our vision of raising money for other groups. So in 2019, we raised about $450,000. And so, but in 2020, we had some internal changes and shifts to the organization. We were able to hire an executive director, and that's currently me. And we were to put a lot more energy and resources, and I kind of had a refresh as an organization. Okay. And we jumped to 800 and 850,000, so almost double. Wow. This year in 2021, we've actually already raised $1.2 million. So we're almost already, we're 50% growth from last year. But I actually think with the end of the year still happening, knock on wood, I'm not a auspicious person, but bringing good juju in the world, I want to end the year with $1.6 million for activists, not us, for activists that are on our platform, right? And that's $1.5 million for 60 well-vetted activists and projects and causes. And that's a doubling what we did last year. So the growth is there and the Sangat is involved.
That's impressive. Wow. So are you seeing as this growth of donations, are you seeing a growth in users that this is attributed to, or are you seeing each individual contribute more each year?
Yeah, both actually. So when I came in, a lot of our strategy was, how do we get existing donors to know that, we have more projects, make a recurring donation and increase kind of the lifetime value of this fund user, right? Right. Inspire that giving more. But then also, if you look at numbers right now, you asked about numbers, and we have about 10,000 users on our platform, right? And if you even look at just the Sikhs in America, we know that it's at least 500,000. So we are still a very, very small fraction in terms of users. Maybe 10,000 are users, another 10,000 know us, but that's still a very small piece of this overall pie. The vision is right now, a lot of energy is also being put in. How can folks find out about what this fund is? How can they spread their word? How can they share it in their Gurdwara communities? So what we are seeing is, we're seeing folks come in and engage more existing donors. We're also seeing we've added we'll close this year with close to 2,000 new donors in the last 2 years. And we're also adding at least like 20, 30 new projects since last year as well, and an organization. So everything is kind of elevating together.
Wow, that's really great to hear that, you have so much growth and still so much potential to go forward, right? I do. That's great. Speaking of projects, are there any specific projects that you personally found interesting or noteworthy that you'd like to share with the Sangat, or that maybe they could use a push or a boost, or that you found inspiring or interesting?
Yeah, personally, I think, I'm always in awe of the incredible work that all activists are doing, right? I call myself a Sevadar of Sevadar. So we have so many Sevadars who are doing incredible work on the ground. And sometimes I'm like, hey, I wish I could be at that, food pantry, or I wish I could be in India when this is going on, or I wish I could help with this. But I think there's an important aspect of what this fund does is, there is such a need of money to be able to do these sevas. And I think that that's an incredible role that we play. Some things that I think we were able to have a massive impact this year is that, when the pandemic hit, an ongoing need is there's been a lot of food insecurity, right? Folks are out of jobs, they don't have resources. So there's been a number of organizations like Khalsa Care Foundation. They run a pantry in Southern California. We have a new group doing something called the Seva Collective as well. So there's a ton of folks helping with that need. One of our biggest, most successful campaigns in partnership this year was we saw India was very hit by that third wave of COVID, and we saw thousands and thousands of folks lose their lives, and it was so unfortunate. But through the help and partnership with Khalsa Aid, we were able to raise money, the most money we've ever raised, 450,000, more than what we raised in 2019. We raised that money for Khalsa Aid to get oxygen concentrators in India in real time as it was happening, you know? And so, and then the last one I'll share is one issue that I feel like there's a lot of issues we don't talk about enough, and domestic violence and gender-based violence is another one. And we were able to raise, help the Sikh Family Center raise money for that as well, in addition to so many other ventures and scholarships and things like that. But those few really resonated for me because everybody stepped up, and the Sangat really was willing to help, and Dasvandh is ready to connect folks to projects, and that was exciting for me in this year, and that led to more than $500,000 of fundraising just in those few projects alone.
Wow, that's really inspiring, and that's amazing. Do you see organizations who maybe struggled to collect funds previous to being on the Dasvandh network, appreciate or change the ability of what they can do because now they're able to reach a new base of donors?
Joe, absolutely. I think, look, so I'm very open and transparent, right? I think, and I'll talk about how folks can help and how we can get involved. And what I'm seeing from an objective party, just looking at having this privilege to kind of take a step back and look at Sikh activism as a whole, although this fund is increasing, our numbers are growing on our platform, and I know that folks are giving more than they've ever given. The need is also growing much faster as well, and there's so much growing demand, and we still have so many youth in Punjab and here who need scholarships, right? We have so many folks that are still suffering due to poverty and what that means. We have so many folks around like trying to do media projects and art projects that aren't funded. And so in all transparency, like Dasvandh is here to be a supplementary resource, and for a lot of smaller and medium-sized organizations, a good proportion of there, right? And so the way we think about ourselves is, can we replace all your funding always? I think that's the dream, and where we want to go. Right now, I think the role we play is to be a very significant partner or a significant piece of your overall fundraising plan. And so we are seeing a lot of new organizations able to scale, fundraise money. A lot of people we did strategic partnerships with, there's at least $500,000 to $600,000 this year. If we didn't partner with them, that money wouldn't have not gotten to those organizations. Would they have been fine and have money anyway and still figured out their seva? Most likely, but it's additional funds allowed them to do work and not worry about something that otherwise they would be very worried about, given that they want to be focusing on the work, not actually the fundraise.
Okay, yeah. So if anyone has an idea or a project or an organization, getting onto this platform is a good step that would probably help them, push their project forward.
Exactly. And then there's at the very base level, we're a fundraising tool. You have a fundraising partner in me. You have a tool that can collect donations in 13 countries, give to tax deductible receipts in the US. So at the very minimum, we have that. But as I mentioned, our vision for activists is we want to create more resources and playbooks and hire, like if we can hire consultants and help folks sketch things out and offer my time and wherever I can help. And so even if we can't help with the fundraising or there's some reason that we can't do that, we want to help activists get to the next level, however that looks like.
Well, that's great. So there's even another element to it, right? Beyond maybe the funding, but just getting connecting to people or resources, or like you said, even consulting and getting ideas or some help of how to do fundraising on the ground, or how to help their organization or their project move forward. That's really great. I wanted to ask you about something that's coming up fairly soon, Dasvandh Week or DV Week. Can you tell us what that is and about that?
No, absolutely. And it's a great way for everybody to get involved. And with it coming up pretty soon, I would love to have everyone's support. So Dasvandh Week is a dedicated time that we have, and it's an event we've been doing every year for the last 9 years. And what is it really? It's our opportunity as a community to continue doing what we've been talking about in this conversation. It's about supporting the Sikh activists. And so, more specifically, it's an annual giving challenge. And in that giving challenge, your donations that you make on our website will be matched based on our policy and until matching funds last. And so that event runs for us starting on Friday, November 5th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and runs until the 14th. And in those, we're offering donors, matches, incentives. We're giving this opportunity for activists to fundraise as much as they can in this 10-day, as hopes of inspiring the Sangha to come together and help everybody out.
Wonderful. That sounds really great. So Dasvandh Week, you said there's a matching fund, right? Where does that fund come from? Who funds that matching?
Very good question. So historically, we as DVN offer this tool and this platform, and that can be used, and donors can give at any point in the year, any day, anytime. However, this Fund of the Week is a special event that we do. And so in addition to offering the tool and the website that we have, I, as the executive director, our staff, our team, we go ahead and try to raise that money for the match that is distributed during the 10 days of annual giving. So from a donor perspective, if they come on November 5th or 6th and they give $300 to an organization, that $300 will be matched. That $300 that I get from the match fund is efforts that were made by Dasvandh Network and our staff to go out to donors previous to DV Week and say, hey, we're going out to the Sangha to amplify your giving and get more folks involved. These are some strategic supporters, longtime ambassadors who are willing to give for the Panth as a whole. And that's how I raise the match fund and raise a good amount of funds for that. And then I go into the wider audience during Dasvandh Week itself. So these folks get a chance to do their Dasvandh before the actual event.
I see. So you and your team, the Dasvandh Network team and the Sevadars, personally try to raise this fund through their network and through individuals and donors who want to contribute to panthic causes. Wonderful. And you said that's coming up in very soon. So
absolutely, yeah, November 5th at 12 p.m.
Yeah, I would highly encourage everyone who's watching this to go ahead and check that out at Dasvandh Week at DV Network.
dvnetwork.org. Yep. So dvnetwork.org. And then starting November 5th at 12 p.m. ET, 9 a.m. PT, what that will allow you to do is you can go and go explore all the causes on our website, pick a few that you like. You could set up a recurring donation or a one-time, whatever it might be. You can go, and when you make the contribution, the website will automatically match it. So we've set it up that so you don't have to worry about whether something will get matched. Just you can go and contribute your Dasvandh, and we'll handle the rest.
Oh wow, that makes it even easier, right? So if you're thinking about giving Dasvandh, you have certain organizations or projects that you want to support, this is a really good time because you can double your impact and double your donations. Yeah. So just binti to the Sadh Sangat, anyone watching this, please check out dvnetwork.org. The website will be here in the description below. And there's also a video on the Sikho YouTube channel, which will also be linked below, about a quick overview of Dasvandh Network, the actual website, and how to use it and how to actually go about looking through projects and choosing a specific organization to donate to, and the checkout and the cart. It's very easy, just like like GoFundMe and maybe Kickstarter and those kinds of crowdfunding websites, right? It's similar, but all based around humanitarian causes, panthic causes, and donations and wonderful organizations that are helping the Panth.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mandeep Singh. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having us, and really appreciate it. If anybody wants to connect and talk more, I'm always open to that. So grateful for the Sikho team and you creating this time for us. And we can't do this alone. So I'm looking forward to having everybody's support and hearing more from the team soon.
Yeah, how can someone reach out to you if they'd like to reach you or the rest of the Dasvandh Network team?
Absolutely. Our website, if you just go dvnetwork.org, we have a contact form. You can email us. Our email is also just info@dvnetwork.org. Either way, whether it's through the website or whether through info@dvnetwork.org. I monitor those personally, so I will do my best to make sure I get back to you and we can set up a conversation.
Wonderful. That sounds great. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for watching. Please remember to check out the Sikho YouTube channel, like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with others if you found it useful. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ
Fateh.
ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।